Okay, we're going to assemble this very elegant little steam engine model. We start with the top and bottom layers, the outer layers. They look identical, but actually they're different. This one has 2 larger holes, and that one has 1 larger hole here. We start with the one that has 2 holes. And pick it up, and we put short screws through all of the screw hole sized holes, not through the large holes. Then the delicate step, piece of stiff paper or thin cardboard, press them together, flip it over, set it down, and slide the paper out. So now we have all the screws ready to go. Next we have these 3 double hole washers. Take one of those and take the 2 small long screws, put one through each hole. And set that down in that hole. Now, this has to be done in exactly the right order or the engine won't turn correctly. There are 2 thin washers. One of them has an arc cut out of it that is sort of parallel to the 2 holes. One has an arc at a funny angle. We take the one with the arc at a funny angle in this orientation. We'll give you a close-up in the video. And put that onto the 2 screws through both holes. Okay, now we have these 2 different sized eccentrics. You see each one of them has a little sort of a tick mark angled off the 2 holes. You want that in this orientation, so the 2 holes, if they're flat like that, then the tick mark goes down and to the right. Take the smaller of the 2 and set it onto the 2 screws. Like that. And it should line up with the washer. The cuts should be in line with each other. Okay. Next, we have these 2 pieces, which look a little bit similar in outline, but one of them has a rectangle and one of them has this more complicated, these are valves here. We take the one with the complicated valve shapes and set that on top. Then we're going to put the orange valve parts in. So we take this link rod first with the circle. The circle goes over that eccentric. And then this is called a spool valve, and it goes in here with these parts linking up with each other. Okay, next we have this thin flexible piece. That goes on top. And then the larger eccentric goes on top, and the tick marks there should line up. So when you set it on, it will line up. If those are not lined up, then one of them is upside down. And then the other oddly shaped washer goes on with its cutout side facing the thin side. So that cut there will line up with the thicker plastic. Okay, next, this piece goes on all the screws. And then the piston and its linkage here. This big green circle goes around that one. And the piston links up with that there. And finally, the top piece goes on. This is now almost finished, but very delicate. If you pick it up, everything falls apart. So we're going to put the nuts on. Just spin them on, not try to tighten them, pressing down a little to keep the screws from turning. Just enough to keep the screws from falling out. Don't pick it up yet because we still have to put this in. So now we have two more of these thick double hole washers. One of them goes and it will fit inside the hole, and the second one is just a spacer. And then the flywheel with its two holes goes on, and then the two tiny little nuts. Now everything is assembled, but it's not tightened yet. So we now need to go. We use a tiny screwdriver because if you use a large screwdriver and tighten it too much, you can crack the acrylic. So either be careful with a big screwdriver or use the tiny screwdriver that your kit came with. And this, if you make it about as tight as you can with a tiny screwdriver, that's just about right. Don't forget the two small screws. These you want to tighten them sort of alternately. They should both end up about the same tightness overall, which is, about as tight as you can make it without straining yourself with a small screwdriver. And now it's ready to go.